Okay. Now it is recording now. I think you've
Okay, okay,
accepted.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So means you're recording.
Yes.
All right. Let me see. We have a lot of guys active today. This is nice. Let me share my screen so we can get back to the chat. All right. So this is Euro USD. We just did AUD USD on the previous class. Unfortunately, that was not recording, so we would use this one for substitute. All right. So we had a very bearish month, which is in respect to market structure. We have this, and price is currently at the discount of this range. So this is being done from my phone. This is a casual MT4 analysis. I'm making it as clear as possible so you can also use your own MT4 to make analysis like this, easily when you want to trade from your phone. On the previous recording we did, I'm doing this for the new guys. I noticed some guys joined the section just now that were not in the previous class. So we did a breakdown on lower time frame analysis. I showed you guys how you can easily get an entry on the lower time frame based off your higher time frame area of interest. But unfortunately, that did not record. So that was what you missed. This is Amebo. Yeah, this is the second section, and we are currently at Euro USD, and we're currently looking at the monthly time frame of Euro USD. So what I just drew on my screen now is identifying the market structure, which the trend looks bullish. See, we had October that came in with this single candle, has been extremely bearish to the core. Okay. So clearing all this now, we move to the weekly time frame to observe more of what is going on within this area of interest, because we have a demand zone here, and this is currently within discount. So this is a good zone to either buy from if we can see a structure change from the lower time frame. Since this is a monthly area of interest, what we did previously from the 30 minutes and the 5 minutes time frame would be done when we see a bullish 4 hour time frame from this point. I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm saying. What we did on the 5 minute time frame of the previous video, okay, is not what you will do directly from a monthly time frame single candle based off a monthly area of interest. That's not what you do. Do you get? You don't go to the monthly time frame to pick a zone and then run back to the 5 minute time frame to wait for confirmation. Do you understand? There are so many timelines with multiple storylines within that period that could alter your analysis. Like you saw what happened with the 1 minute and the 5 minute time frames. Do you understand? Something as simple as that could cause a manipulation that could make you lose your money. Do you understand? So what you do is you use the monthly direction to observe the weekly and the daily. Then whenever a 4 hour bullish area of interest is made from here, that is when you see something like when you see something like this is the 4 hour structure. You see, it's completely different from what we had on the monthly, but it's also bearish. Okay, until you see something like this. Okay, that's when you now assume that there's every possibility that something like this is about to happen for the long run. Not now. You don't go to the middle of this point to say we are within a monthly area of interest, so you're going to just buy from here based on that. You don't just do that. Do you understand? That's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. So now, from what we have, let's go and see what the weekly is saying. Already on the 4 hour time frame, I can easily tell you what's going on there. But let's not just jump down. Let's go to the weekly time frame. So this is the weekly, and on this time frame, price is also mitigating a fair value gap similar to what we had on AUD USD. But we have already seen, we saw that this week we are just closing out, which would be this single candle. closed above the liquidity point, which also signifies that this is likely a stop hunt and price might be going bullish. Do you understand? So we're looking at confirmation to our monthly bullish possibility on the weekly time frame. Although we are still very bearish, but the only way we can know if the trend is changing is, it starts from the lower time frame. So this is a good sign on the weekly time frame to say, okay, if there's something bullish on maybe the 4 hours time frame, we can look into that area of interest based off this weekly assumption, which we are seeing here from price rejecting from this fair value gap and closing above the liquidity. That's a smart money concept. That's a smart money concept for identifying a stop point if the actual stop point formation happens. Okay. That's like something like what's going on here. So there's likely something like that about to happen here. So it's a confirmation that the next candle is likely bullish. Yes, that was what happened here as well. You see, similar to what happened here. Also, what happened here. So it's a swing point candle formation. But now we go to the daily time frame. And now we can observe 2 to 3 days candlesticks, which is single candlesticks, because we know from what we saw on the weekly time frame, okay, we are likely expecting a bullish formation from this point. Now, what do we have? If you look at this, you will see that, you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes,
Yes, we
we
can
see.
hear. All right, so on what we have right now, looking at the daily time frame, we have this high, this low, this high, and this low. And then we have 2 areas of interest within this structure. And we are looking at this bullish because of the weekly rejection we saw. Okay. And the trend has not yet switched. The trend has not yet switched to bullish. It's not bullish yet. We are just using the assumption of the fact that we're within a monthly area of interest and we are seeing a weekly stop hunt rejection. Right now, we are seeing an engulfing on the daily time frame, a bullish engulfing. Do you understand? So that is also a confirmation to this point that there's every possibility that Monday could be bullish. Doesn't mean price can't mess with you psychologically like this before moving, like within the single candle on the lower time frame. You could see an accumulation till London section, because we're about to go through the Asian section. So you can see something like this tonight, and then you see London creating something like this. Then you can now say, okay, I have this area of interest, and then probably swing trade based off the higher time frame confirmations. But this is what we call top-down analysis. We're coming from the top and getting our confirmations down to the lower time frame. Okay, so this is the daily breakdown. And as you can see, the daily breakdown is different from the weekly confirmation. The weekly confirmation is in line with what the monthly area of interest. So everything has to be in line for it to make sense. So now we move to the 4-hour time frame, which we now have this. On the 4-hour time frame, we see that price is currently an structural liquidity based off this. Okay. And then remember we saw that on the daily time frame, there was an area of interest around here, right? And we had an order block forming around here, right? So if we were to confirm this, we understand why price react this fair value gap, being one of the obvious areas of interest from that daily order block, which would be this. Okay, so this would be a 4-hour fair value gap within a daily area of interest. While on the other side, we have a change of character to the internal structure of this. Okay. And then also playing significant to the weekly time frame as a rejection and also an engulfing on the daily. We can now say observing what happens tomorrow from here can give us an entry confirmation. There's no confirmation yet, but this is an area of interest. To have our invalidation points below this low, and then probably expect an entry from London section tomorrow. Do you understand? The first obstacle in line with the trend, because as you can see, the trend is still bearish. Trend is bearish. Okay, but we are within a very, very, very valid bullish area of interest coming from the higher time frame, and which we can get a swing entry to even clear out these highs if we hit the jackpot. But that's how you get a sniper entry. So, but we don't have any confirmation yet. That's what we would be waiting for within this point, which would be observing the price action that comes in from London and then to New York section, and then to close the day and maybe swing to the weekend. Your first obstacle would be this fresh order block as well. Because if this should also be a bearish trend instead, where price would be reacting from would be to continue this trend by having maybe this rejection and then to start like this. You see? So you might be saying because you're coming from the weekly time frame and you got your entry here on Monday, then the market is bullish. And then maybe the market doesn't want to be bullish. And you don't pay attention to what you have here, you could get stopped out from a possibility of a lower time frame structure forming from here. So you could easily get Monday trade from here, Tuesday trade from here, and then maybe continue from a break and retest on Wednesday. This is understanding what could come in the next week. This is how you make your weekly analysis. Okay, so this is an obstacle for now because our long-term projection is something like this. Maybe, break and retest. But at the same time, this is an obstacle that could counter that idea and say, no, we are still bearish. So this is like an area of interest for bearish, an area of interest for bullish. So this is what the 4-hour is saying. You have this point and this point in line with what you have from the higher time frame. Okay. So whatever you do from here is what we now call lower time frame observation, like the 1-hour time frame, to see what you have from here. Okay, you could say this is a POI, to see how Asian forms, something like this, and then this is your obstacle. This would be your Quasimodo pattern, you see. So if it should form, the Quasimodo pattern is also in support of a bearish entry. All right, and maybe a new Quasimodo pattern could be forming from this point. You see, so now you have few area of interest to observe on the 1-hour time frame with confidence using smart money concept. So this is smart money concept, top-down analysis. Any questions so far?
So far, I'm good. I'm aligned.
Anyone trying to understand what the concept of stop hunt is, liquidity, all those stuff? Most of these are classes which would have wonderful breakdowns like this are what I post on YouTube. Do you understand? I don't make any external videos anymore. That was like 2 years ago. But all the videos that on YouTube are random sections we have like this, and the recordings are available. I did that so that whenever you guys want to study, it's something you can easily do with your YouTube. You don't have to come to me. So we can easily have access to the YouTube as a study case where you can go and redo your studies. At the same time, boosting the audience of the academy, by having a public channel. So use that to find what is liquidity, videos on what we did on liquidity, breaker block, order block, market structure, advanced market structure. They are all there. You understand? So it's not for the purpose of just doing a YouTube video. You can actually learn something from the recordings just by doing your own revision. Okay. So anybody has any questions so far? So we are good on USD. Let's see what we have on GBP USD. So we have this liquidity on GBP USD. Now we know that GU and EU, which is GBP British pounds against the US dollars and the euro against the US dollars, they're likely moving the same directions. Not in market structure, but in trend. They are always in the same trend because they both have the same base. So it's just different codes, which are GBP and Euro, which are both, I think, located in similar geographical areas. So they kind of like have similar, they're like brothers, you understand, against the same pair. So if you have a higher time frame prediction from Euro USD, trust me, there's every possibility that's what you're going to be seeing on GBP USD. So this is like a correlation analysis kind of thing. So if you have a higher time frame prediction from EU, and EU is in a good area of interest, there's also every possibility that GBP USD would be in a good area of interest. Do you understand? So there's no need to do separate breakdown and all those stuff. You can easily just, use insights from EU and understand GU. So this is on the monthly time frame, and GBP USD just cleared out liquidity as well, which is the previous monthly low. Okay, but hasn't closed above the tier to confirm that this might be a pullback to continue bullish next month, which I think is what's going to happen with the US election coming up. So I think we're going to see a spike to continue to the upside, but that's just speculations. What we have here is that the monthly time frame candle has not ended; it's still moving, and if we do close above the previous monthly low, I do think we might be bullish for the long run, and this is just a retracement. So on the weekly time frame, we have an internal structure being cleared out, and we have a bullish structure follow-up. Okay, so if we're looking at premium and discounts, this would be clearing out the internal low within discount. And then we have a breaker, more like a breaker block area of interest here. And then there's also a fair value gap here. Let me use different color. You see? But there's no confirmation to saying this is bullish, but this is like a possibility to a bullish pullback. And remember how EU had a rejection on the weekly time frame? You can see how GU also has a rejection. So you see that correlation thing I was talking about. But we also have an area of interest here. Do you understand? That could support that price is still bearish. But at the same time, we have this. These bullish areas of interest where we can see a pullback like this. Okay. And then have this great liquidity for a pullback like this. And then this would be in respect to structure like this. You see? and this would be clearing out internal low. Are you guys following up?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep. So this is how you
Yes.
understand multiple perspectives to the weekly time frame. So try and understand what's going on. These are all storylines. Do you understand? These are speculations to logical movements that the market could be making based on supply and demand and the current structure you can see. Of course, based on the events we are having in the nearest future, we could see crazy price actions like this, spikes that create bulls like this. Do you understand? That ends up invalidating reasonable structures like what we have here.
Okay.
So the US election can have impact on things like this as well. So this is all speculations. We are not saying this is exactly what will happen, but if we are to have a clean price action, this can happen. Do you understand? And you see my reasons why. So this is analysis. Now we're going to the daily time frame, and then we see similar thing to what we have on EU. Price is currently at another block area, which is not really another block because there was no proper engulfing to the upside. So GU doesn't have any proper confirmation to say, yeah, this is bullish. From what I can see, this is a completely bearish structure. There is no bullish confirmation yet on the daily time frame. That doesn't mean something like this can't happen. Okay, because from what we can see here, price never really tapped into this area, and we have multiple highs here. So even as we can't see a bullish confirmation, we are also seeing a bullish possibility based off liquidity. Those are these highs we have here. Do you understand? So this can also tell us that EU might be fronting a bullish idea that might look like it's going for the long run and end up creating liquidity like what we had, the speculation we had I drew earlier on EU. GU is trying to tell us that might be correct, and then the bullish pullback doesn't last for long, respecting to what we have on GU. So they both give you this correlation analysis that can help you understand what's going on here, what the institutions are pulling off here against what is going on the technical aspect of EU. And then together you can make your correlations and have a better understanding of what to expect. You understand? That time, nothing will shock you again, you understand? You don't see everybody high. You get?
Yeah.
So this is like the daily time frame. This is the daily time frame. You have the 4 hour now, giving us a new insight. So, sorry. Now, if we look at this also gives confirmation to the liquidity aspect because we see it like a double top here. Okay. And at the same time, price didn't really clear out. This liquidity was cleared out. But at the same time, it created an even bigger one because they didn't properly clear out the liquidity. Why would you get this close to clear out these highs and then you won't clear out these ones? That means you're still stacking. This is what we call stacking up. You're stacking up bullish orders, which also confirms that we have a support and resistance area here. You see, break and retest, and then we're having multiple retests, which is a sign that this is weak. Multiple tests is a sign that is weak. If you see a proper break and retest, it happens as fast as possible. Okay, like what we have here. You don't see something like this. If you see something that then is building up liquidity, like what you have here, they stack up, they clear it out. So this is stacking. This is stacking up liquidity, scammers. So on this aspect as well, this would also be stacking for the long run. Because if you look at the structure, which high? Respected structure. You see, this is the structure, and these are all what we consider lower time frame manipulations. So if we're saying we're looking at premium and discounts, this will be premium and this will be discount. Price is still within discount. Okay, I might be heading to a more premium price before even going lower, which would be, this would be liquidity.
I see.
You see? So the daily doesn't give any confirmation to a bullish breakout. But from what we can see on the 4-hour time frame now, if you pay attention here, we also have a fair value gap, liquidity, and a simple supply zone here. I'm not saying this would happen, but that also means that with what we have from EU, we can also say GU might give a new confirmation. That is, this is not a confirmation entry. This is an area of interest. If we do see something like a Quasimodo pattern from here, like this, then it's possible we can see something like this before price actually drops. It's possible, but there's no confirmation to say this is going to hold, because from what we see from structure again, this is a weak low. Do you understand? If you fail to break this high, so this is a weak low. If this was a trade, this would be a counter trade.
Yeah.
This would be against the trend. So that's a weak low. So for EU, also this is an analysis breakdown. This is not, I'm going to still make a proper analysis when my system is on and send that to the channel. This is to give you insight to how I make those charts, so you can also understand them yourselves and, interpret your own charts with them. Do you understand? I'm giving you insights to proper breakdown on why I pick them and how I pick them. Of course, if I was doing analysis for myself, I would just, I like this, I like that, and just leave. But I'm trying to make you guys understand why I would highlight this, highlight that, all this kind of stuff. So, any questions so far?
I'm all right. I'm good from my end.
I think I'm getting good at breaking down my analysis, like with the clearance aspect. Nobody's having questions like that.
This is smart. It's still on smart money concept. If you made this a whack off now.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. If I was to say, let's use Wyckoff, my hair, people would be like, why is that PS? Why is that SR?
That's what I didn't get.
But if we're using Wyckoff now, I would say, we have the mark up, mark down, and then a consolidation. Drop, base, drop. So there was a reaccumulation made here in the past.
Okay.
This will be a rally, base.
Right.
We might see a drop or a rally. Do you understand? So from what we made with SMC, there's either a continuation pattern, which will be a reaccumulation happening here, or a distribution means also forming, which a distribution will be a reversal, okay, and the reaccumulation will be the continuation trend. This is our time of Wyckoff. This is Wyckoff trying to tell you what's going on. Do you understand? So it's not that difficult to use Wyckoff if you know SMC. It's easy to blend everything in and simply just get your insights. You're not here to just make it look too sexy. You're just here to know what's going on. It's the guy that is posting the chart that has to make it that sexy, which is me, so that you can understand it. For you to understand it on your phone, you can easily just use the concepts and the principles of Wyckoff. Understand the lower time frame of what's going on here, and then see if it supports price going higher or price going lower. And as easy as that, you could have an insight of what's going on. So if we use the range to try and understand if it's an accumulation or a reaccumulation or a distribution. For a distribution, we would say this would be a buying climax, PS, AR, ST, okay, ST. So this could be a uptrust action, and then we could be expecting a U-turn to clear out that high. But that would only be possible. Let me circle them so you can understand the highs are this high, this low, this official high, this and this high. So if this was on my system, it would have looked more sexier, but I just hope you're understanding what I'm doing. And then this is happening from this. So this is like the confirmation to the trend that it is bearish. Do you understand? So this is like trying to see if this is a reaccumulation or a distribution. So far, if this would be a distribution, then we would have to see what we call an SOW, sign of weakness, which would be something like price clearing out this low before going back up. So this would be the sign of weakness that the momentum is on the bearish side, invalidating this internal structure, which would be what we have here. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have to see a sign of weakness before we can trust that probably this high would hold for a distribution 2, or we might see this high get a stop hunt for a distribution 1. So distribution 1 says this might still get a stop hunt. Distribution 2 say this is a Quasimodo pattern. And if this is a Quasimodo pattern, then we have to create this leg before price goes back up. That is if this is a distribution. I think everything is legible. Look at this. So you see, this will be the Quasimodo. Or even this one. But in all, that would be a distribution 2. But there's no confirmation to that yet. So, and if this was to be a reaccumulation, I don't know the reaccumulation patterns as much as I know the distribution and the accumulation, which I just explained the distribution for you by just easily picking out those zones. Normally, when I want to use Wyckoff, I just put the chart on my screen. But since this is a Zoom, I can easily do that. But if this was to confirm for a reaccumulation, then I believe we would be having something like a spring going off at this point here. And this would also be an SOS, which would be what we call a sign of strength to the upside. So if we're going to be having a test to continue the trend to the upside to clear out this high, then we're likely going to see a supply zone get formed within Asian section. Although the low might get cleared out, which would be an SOW confirming the distribution, or price could just be bullish, confirming the reaccumulation. So SMC says, don't trade Asian section, wait for Asian section to form, then you get that insight to get a bullish entry or a bearish entry from London after the manipulation. Wyckoff say, if Asian section forms and goes lower, there's every possibility that the day is going to retrace higher, but the trend is bearish, which is a distribution. But if the Asian section goes higher, there's every tendency that the day could go higher, which is something like this. So if Asian sections go higher, London could manipulate it lower to give a test for the reaccumulation to continue up. Also having this as liquidity for the future. Okay, but this would be a spring manipulation. And if we